You don't send angels to do the devil's work. That's the first thing I thought, as I looked out at the mech operators from the other countries. We'd just managed to evade an avalanche, and our machines were lying scattered across a frozen lake in the Arctic, exterior lights on, facing each other. Nobody said anything for several seconds, and I think that was because we were taking in the other operators' mechs. They bore only a faint resemblance to ours. For starters, they were bigger, badder, and, more intimidating. Where our turrets were mostly rounded, theirs had an unusual octagon-like shape. Our machines were quilted with armor, but theirs were slabbed with thick ballistic plates and studded with all manner of cannons and tubes that I imagined housed a wide variety of rockets and missiles. The legs on their mechs differed as well, shaped more like giant turnips, wide at the top, narrow at the bottom. I assumed this was to carry the weight of the armor and weapon systems, but it made me think that if our machines were like marathon runners, mostly long and lean, then theirs, especially when it came to the mechanical legs, more closely resembled sprinters. Even in the semi-darkness, I could see that the exteriors of their turrets were dented and fire-blackened, decorated with writing in foreign languages, and painted with red slash marks, which I imagined represented enemy kills, along with what looked like bleached alien body parts that dangled from wires below the cannons and rocket launchers like wind chimes. I'd seen a documentary on a band of southwestern scalp hunters back in the 1800s who used to ride their horses with bridles woven from human hair, the saddles decorated with bones and teeth. They were led by a man named Glanton and a judge named Holden, and were called a Legion of Horribles, the Scourge of God. Sitting there, staring at them, I thought the foreign mechs looked an awful lot like those scalp hunters. A 21st century raiding party. Simeon, who hadn't been strapped in while we were trying to avoid the avalanche, was lying across my lap. "Don't get too comfortable there, pal," I said. He groaned, flipped me a middle finger, and then pushed himself off and scrunched into a ball against the canopy. I thumbed at the Spence mech's controls, and we stood to our full height. The other mechs did the same, and in seconds we were all standing in a circle, steam rising from our fighting machines, the air still heavy with the snow and ice from the avalanche. For a moment, the scene resembled one of those tense Mexican standoffs from an old-time movie. You know, the ones where somebody accidentally fires their gun and everyone winds up dead. "That was one hell of a ride," Billy said, breaking the silence. "Who wants to go again?" Silence greeted him. The largest of the four mechs, the one that was painted black with a death's head skull in white painted on the side of the turret, stepped towards us. A bulky white guy sat behind the controls. He rotated his turret from left to right, as if struggling to size each of us up. "That was one fucked up fire mission," he said. His heavy Russian accent immediately let us know that he was the foreign operator named Vadim. "The job was accomplished," Wren said. "The hell it was," replied Charlene, the foreign operator with the English accent. She was seated inside a silver mech with a large peace symbol painted on the turret in yellow. "This was a snatch-and-grab operation, not a barn burner. You blew up the target and brought a goddamn mountain down on us." "Look, baby girl," Billy replied, "I love Snatch as much as the next guy, but we had orders to hit that outpost and stop the Scuds from setting off a bomb." "Your orders were in error, then," said Wang Wei, the foreign operator with the Chinese accent. He was behind the controls of a mech that had an enormous metal sickle pinned to the side by magnets. "The aliens were never trying to detonate a bomb. They came here for a very specific purpose," said Amir, the last foreign operator who was snugged inside a mech with an unusually small cockpit that was surrounded by twice as many cannons as we had on the Spence mech. "How the hell do you know that?" Billy asked. "Because we are professionals," Amir replied. "That's what you say," Billy shot back. "We are the ones talking, so of course it is what we say," Vadim offered. "Enough of the bullshit," Simeon snapped. "Sound off." "Vadim Kadyrov, captain in the Strategic Mechanized Forces of the Special Operations Forces Command, resistance operator in the Third Great Patriotic War."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.